Welcome back. Today, I'm very lucky. We found these in the supermarket. They're vacuum packed, they're very fresh, and they've been pre-cleaned. And this whole thing will be on the table in less than 5 minutes. Okay? I've got nearly 1.5 kilos, which will be far too much for two of us, but we shall save some to throw in a soup later. Mussels. These are in fact mussels that are grown in Spain, which are slightly different variety to those that are grown in France, to those that are grown in Ireland. Now then, these. I've got one onion. It was a big onion and I've chopped it up into little bits. I've got 2 cloves of garlic chopped up. I've got 30% cream, and that's about 50% of the box, and I probably won't use all of it. And I've got here one very generous glass of white wine, not sweet, just dry, plain, cheap wine. So, had these not been pre-prepared, I would have run them under the tap and given them a good wash before I used them. That's probably the hardest part of the whole recipe, opening the packet. So, I take some oil and I turn the handle. We use that to cook and soften our onion. We're not trying to produce golden onion or caramelized or anything, just soften it. And I promise it will all be on the table in under 5 minutes. And it's so easy, you can't really get it wrong. Okay, so I've got a big saucepan. So I just let that heat up, and I always serve it in soup bowls, but big ones, and a plate, so you can put your dead shells on the plate. If you don't want to use a plate, and it is quite a messy thing to eat, then what I would do is to have a big bowl for somebody to, between 2 people, a bowl that you can put all your debris in, because once you eat them, you end up with a lot of bits. Now, at the moment, they're all closed and they look small. But once they open, and you will be opening them in the heating process and the eating, you end up with a lot more. It's probably about 3 or 4 times the volume. So allow for that. In France, these are always served with frites. And I do not know why, because I like it with crusty bread. And that way I can mop up the sauce. And it produces a beautiful sauce. Now I'm adding this late because I don't want this garlic to burn, and this is high heat, it's likely to burn, so I'm going to add that at the last minute before I add these and this. All right, it's a very last minute thing, but you may not want garlic. You could just use shallots and not use an onion. There's a lot of different options. Right, they're beginning to soften now, as you can see. Right, now I'm going to add my garlic, just literally for the last little bit. And now, are they pretty? I think they're very pretty. Now I have this on full heat. It's a big, very hot flame. And I bring it up again to temperature. As they open, they release the liquid that they've got trapped inside them. And that is the basis of the sauce. So you're not throwing that away, you leave that in there. The next ingredient will be this. Now you may want to add some pepper. I don't particularly go for pepper, but you can do, or some chives or some other spice. Now you can see the steam's coming off it. They're getting hot. And you can see they're starting to open. As they die, the mussel lets go and they open up. And you can see this one here is opened fully enough for you to see the gorgeous colour on the inside. I mean, you can't say that's not a pretty dish. You can hear it starting to bubble on the bottom. Now I'm going to take my wine. This obviously cools it down. Now you've got to wait till it comes back up to temperature, and we're nearly ready to eat it. This is so quick. You can come home at lunchtime, knock this up and eat it and go out within half an hour. I don't know why people don't eat this more. But the chips are the traditional thing to eat with this. But I think they don't mop up the sauce, and they are a bit, I don't know, they just don't do it for me. Greasy, yeah, they're greasy. Whereas this, with the cream in it, you don't really need all of that, but you do need something to mop up the sauce with. I suppose you can drink it with a spoon like a soup, but I do like crusty bread with this. Really nice crusty baguette. And then you just mop it into this sauce and it's just gorgeous. Or you can have enough time while this is cooking to make some toast. So, you know, you've got lots of options. Can you see we've now got our wine come up to the surface of bubbling? And your mussels are now cooking, really cooking. You give them about a minute, which will drive off the alcohol. And now you are opening your cream. You know, they sell it in pots, they sell it in squirt things. They, you know, I just happen to buy it like this. It's good, isn't it? And it's starting to smell delicious, isn't it? Yes, they're now filling 2/3 of the pan, whereas before they were just literally a layer and a half on the bottom. So you can see they are pretty expansionist things. Now you can't tell in advance how much cream you want. It depends on how much liquid comes out of the mussels themselves. And that's it. We just reheat the cream and they're ready to serve. I promised you it would be on the table in under 5 minutes, and it will be. That is the easiest way, I think, and one of the most luxurious ways to actually serve these things. Now you need a nice big ladle. Any of the liquid that you don't use makes a really good stock for a soup or a stock to make any fish dish. It's just brilliant. And we turn them off. There you are, start to finish. And we load them on to these plates. We pile them up, and the liquid is the sauce. And they can have seconds if they want them. And you can't say that that isn't a beautiful dish and impressive. Look at that. So now you know how to do it. I'm sure you will, because it's so easy. This is the seafood is eaten at festival times in France. So we're coming up to Easter. So This is quite a nice thing for them to buy and use. But these are delicious. So we're going to go and eat them, and I hope you do. So enjoy. They are small, but they are so sweet. They are really good. And the sauce, wine and cream, you can't beat it, can you? The onion gives it a sweetness. It's really good. And the bread in the soup, it's salty because it has the seawater in it, but it's creamy and oh, it's good.